it's not worth it. Don't waste your money. The cards are beautiful. And again, if you're just new and you don't want to spend a lot of money, then, I mean, maybe buy one just to see if you even like tarot reading. But don't do what I did. Don't buy like 8 decks at a time because it's not worth it. Hello friends, today I want to talk about something slightly controversial, and that is buying knockoff tarot cards from cheap websites. So I'm talking eBay, Wish, AliExpress, there might even be a few others. They sell really cheap tarot cards. And I'm not gonna lie, I have quite a few. As you can see, my box, which is where I usually store my tarot cards, it's pretty empty. I actually only have 3 legit tarot decks. The rest of my decks are knockoffs. As I get more involved in tarot reading, I am buying new decks, and there are decks that I will buy the legitimate copy of. But when I first got started, I was just buying them on eBay. Honestly, when I bought them, I didn't realize they were fake. I had bought probably about 6 different decks all at the same time because I didn't know which one I wanted, and they were cheap. They were about $5 to $8 each. And at the time, it was just, they were within my budget, and I also didn't need the guidebooks, and I didn't want all the fancy packaging. So I thought they were just cheap because they just came with the cards. I have another tarot deck over here, which, like, it's got a huge fancy box, it's got a big beautiful book, and I mean, I love that deck and I love the fancy box, but it's just I don't have the space to store all of that. So when I saw that I could get just the cards, I was like, wonderful, I'm gonna get just the cards. And I splurged. I bought way too many cards, and then I was looking at them and I'm like, some of these, like, they certain ones have red flags, and I'll show you those. But then I actually was at my friend's house, and she has the legit version of one of the decks that I have, and I was like, yeah, mine's not real. She had, the pretty box, the fancy cards, and mine definitely were not real. So anyways, enough blabbering. Let's get into the cards that I have. So I'm going to start with the Wild Unknown Tarot. This is a very popular deck, and it's also a very popular knockoff. I've seen it on Wish, I've seen it on AliExpress, and I've seen it on eBay. Again, there might be more websites, but I'm not familiar with them. Those are just the ones that I have seen. So again, this I think I bought for about $5, but don't be fooled, okay? So this is what it looks like. I mean, the artwork's beautiful, but the paper quality is not there, and also the color is not there. And let me just open up. This is a legit Rider-Waite deck, or a card from a deck. Look at the size difference. Now these Kim Krans cards, the legit Kim Krans cards, are the same size as this Rider deck. It's also, look at how nice this paper quality is. This is just like it's flimsy. These are extremely, extremely flimsy cards, to the point that it's like I'm not holding it bent. It's just bent just from me doing that. And these cards, I find the corners kind of scuff a little bit. I've used this deck a lot, And I mean, like, they're still beautiful cards. But it's just, the quality's not there. You get what you pay for. And these, that's actually 2 cards together. They're very flimsy cards. You know, so, I mean, I do like just having just the box because I never read the books. I don't. But that being said, putting them in this card style box, sometimes they get stuck, which is not nice. So that's the first one I have. I also have the Witch's Tarot. And this one I have also seen in person. And this one is interesting because if you look, you can see, do you see that white line? That's because the cards are not cut properly. And there are a whole bunch of them that do that. Can you see that? It's the cards not being cut properly. They're not cut straight. And these ones, let me see if I can find an example of it. Just going through quickly. There. So these cards are from the same pack, but they are clearly, I don't even know if my camera's going to pick it up. They are clearly 2 different die lots. This one is very rich. This one is very reminiscent of what these cards really look like. But actually, if you look at the top, it's miscut too. It's got the bottom of another card on the top. But then this card, it's hard to, it's almost more brown. It's like the printer was running out of ink or something as it was printing this card. And this deck has all sorts of cards like that. They are all different colors. Let me see if I can you see the color variation? Like, just looking at the outline around the card. Like, there is so much color variation in this deck. And I've seen the real deck. It's not like that. The real deck is very consistent in color. This is not. Again, it's super flimsy. Super flimsy. This one also sometimes, I don't know if I can see it. If I hold it like that, I don't know who would be able to see it. But there's like, it's starting to get fuzzy along the edges from where I hold it when I shuffle, which is not ideal. I want my cards to last. I don't want them to, start to fray and get all discolored. Let's see. We have the Wheel of the Year Tarot. Now, I'm only assuming this one is fake. This one is actually more legit looking than these other ones. These other ones, like they've got these codes like scanned for guidebook. Like that's not legit. Like these don't have it. This one doesn't have that. There is no indication that this one, like off the top of my head, like I can't tell that this is a fake deck. I also haven't seen the real version of this. I don't know how it compares size-wise. The cardstock on this, again, it's still flimsy, but the coloring on these cards is a lot more consistent than the other fake ones. But it's still, I didn't show you the size of the Witch's Tarot. The Witch's Tarot is the same size, but it's still a lot smaller than a typical tarot card. These ones, again, I haven't seen these anywhere else. I don't know if these come in a different way. I mean, like, because, like, I bought my Rider-Waite just in a pack like this. It didn't come with a guidebook. It just had a little insert. And so I don't know if this comes in a big fancy box. I don't know. If anyone has this deck, this Wheel of the Year Tarot, and if it comes different than this, please let me know in the comments down below. Like, I'm just assuming because of the price I paid for this. I think this one was like $4 on eBay. And again, you can see just because of the crappy packaging that it came in. These always just come in poly mailers. Like, there's no padding, there's no protection for the cards. So, like, the boxes get so dinged up in shipping. And, like, I like to take good care of my stuff, but these boxes are quite often dinged up before they even arrive. You can see the Kim Krans one is all dinged up as well. They definitely do not have proper packaging as they're mailed. If you saw my unboxing of my Hay House cards, you'll see that that was, you know, there was bubble wrap. It was a nice sturdy box. These just come in a mailer. So then the next deck that I have is the Animal Totem Tarot. And again, this one, oh no, it does have a scan to download the guidebook. I haven't seen the real version of these cards either. So this is the Animal Totem Tarot, and I use this quite a lot in my readings because I do really resonate with this deck. If I can find the legit deck of this, I will be repurchasing this because I do want to support the artists. I want to make sure that they get supported. This artist is Lisa Robertson, illustrated by Eugene Smith. I guess I should tell you these other ones. This is Maria Karate art by Antonella Platano. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. The Wild Unknown is Kim Krans. And the Witch's Tarot is Ellen Dugan, illustrated by Mark Evans. So I want to make sure that these artists do get supported. The ultimate conclusion of this video, even though I'm not done, is that you get what you pay for, and these are cheap knockoffs. But anyways, let's keep going. This one, out of all of my knockoff decks, this one I think is the best quality for print. The color is consistent, the way it is cut is consistent, but again, super cheap, super flimsy cards. Another reason why I want to buy this deck in the legitimate form is, well, one, I think the bigger cards show up better on camera, but also this one, I feel like sometimes when I'm shuffling, I'm gonna bend the cards, they're gonna crease, they're going to get wrecked. I'm very cautious shuffling these cards versus like my Rider-Waite deck. I feel like I can shuffle not so much more aggressively, but just with a little more enthusiasm for these cards. These, because they're so flimsy, you can't do it. But I mean, they are beautiful cards, and I can't wait to get my hands on an original version of this deck. This one is, again, this is one that I had seen at one of my local shops, but they never actually had it in stock. It was only the demos, and I thought it was so pretty. It's, well, I can't say it because this one is not. The real one is this very pretty, like light purple kind of color. The cards that I got, they're like a greeny gray. Like, they are not the right color. Again, the die lots are completely off. Can you see the difference in the color of those two cards? I mean, I bought these because I couldn't find them at my local shop. They never had them in stock. And I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to order them for cheaper and not get the fancy box and all this. And because the box that they had also was like a metal box, and I wasn't wanting to do this. Look at how crappily this card is cut. Like, it's, if you put 2 and 2 together, you can see how much wider the band on the top card is than the other one. Some of these, like, the words are cut off on the bottom of them. They're beautiful cards, but don't waste your money. Just buy the authentic cards. Because, yeah, the color on these, like this card I've seen in person. This is the Queen of Pentacles, and this card looks so dingy. Like, they almost look like I left them out in the sun, but I didn't. the back of the card, like you can see that purple on the back of the card, that's more the color that these cards are supposed to be. So that was a little disappointing when I opened these. So, yeah. I mean, this is, who's this by? They don't have the artist on this. I'm so sorry to whoever created this deck. The artwork is beautiful. The knockoff doesn't even give you the courtesy of putting your name on it. So, and then we have, again, another one of my favorites. This is the Wildwood Tarot. This will be another deck that I will be purchasing the legit copy of. This is from Mark Ryans and John Matthews. Illustrations by Will Worthington. If you've seen my videos, you've seen these cards. They are beautiful cards. Like, I love them. And even as I was fanning them out, I don't know if you can see how frayed the edges on these cards are getting. It's just because the quality isn't there. Again, super actually, these are probably the flimsiest of them all. Like, they are so flimsy. And you can see, like, how worn the edges are getting. But, whoops, dropping a card. But the artwork on these cards is so beautiful. So this is definitely a deck that I will want to purchase the legit version of. Oh, and here's a funny card. This one is the Five of Bows. And it's got, like, a purple line around the outside. I don't know if it's going to pick it up. It's trying to pick up my face. But there's, yeah, like a purple line. This one's got a green line at the top. Like, these are not things that are on the actual cards. These are just because it's a knockoff and however they scanned to rip off the image. This card's kind of pink. So, you know, beautiful artwork. Kudos to the artist on this deck. This is another one I will definitely be buying. And then we have, this is the worst knockoff tarot deck. This deck, I haven't seen this in person. This is another one that I was not able to find in person. It doesn't exist in any of my local stores, and I much prefer to support local when I can, and then otherwise I just go cheap. But it's got this gilding on the side. I mean, that's so pretty, right? Except for the fact when I bought this, you could tell that they literally like put the whole deck together and like painted the edges. Even now my hands are all sparkly from these cards. And I have had these cards for a while, and I have shuffled them and shuffled them and shuffled them, and I never used them in a reading because look how clustered together they are. And it's not even really showing. Let me shuffle them this way. Can you see? Like, you can't shuffle them one card. This is, they clump together because of the silver on the end of them. It's just, and this one, the color is so off. I mean, some of them look beautiful. They actually look a lot better on camera than they do in person. But some of them, it's like, again, like they were sun bleached. Like I left them out in the sun and they lost all their vibrancy. Let me see if I can find one. Or like this card, this Empress card. It is so oversaturated with this orange color that it's honestly, well, it's not hard to make out with the images, but it doesn't have the clarity that these cards have. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos about these cards, and I thought, oh my god, they're so pretty, I need to find them. And the only place I could find them was on eBay. When I was Googling the cards, the only place I could find them was on eBay. And like this one looks like it's been left out in the sun. It's all faded. And it's just, don't waste your money. It's not worth it. These cards, because of the gilding on the edge, they do seem a little sturdier, but they're not. So if you can find these cards and you can support this artist, illustrated by James R. Eads. Buy the legit cards. These are not worth it. The next eBay knockoff that I have is these fairy cards. And this is actually like a very substantial box. It's a lot bigger than the other ones. It's an odd shaped. They're very wide. I actually thought they were oracle cards at first when I first opened them. And you know, they're pretty, but I actually really like the shape of these cards. I have small hands, so the Rider-Waite deck is actually, it's quite large for me to shuffle, and typical tarot cards are. So that is the bonus for these knockoff cards, is that for me they are easier to shuffle. But this card is cut so poorly. This is a really awkward shape. It's wider than the Rider-Waite, but narrower. But look at how poorly this card is cut. Like, it's got barely any edge on this side, and then it's got so much on this side. And, like, it's so wonky on the front. And, like, it's already dinged. Like, this just goes to show about the quality of the cards. This is actually a Hay House deck. And Hay House has really good quality. I really like products, but yeah, this is not from Hay House. Look, like you can see, like it's not worth it. Don't waste your money. The cards are beautiful. And again, if you're just new and you don't want to spend a lot of money, then I mean, maybe buy one just to see if you even like tarot reading, but don't do what I did. Don't buy like 8 decks at a time, because it's not worth it. The last knockoff tarot deck that I have is Mystic Monday's Tarot by Grace Duong. And again, these cards are so beautiful. I've never actually shown these cards before. This is what I typically use when I'm reading for myself. But these cards kind of sum me up. And again, I will be supporting Grace when I can find a legit version of this deck, because it is beautiful. But again, it's small, it's flimsy. This cardstock's actually better than a lot of the other ones, but it's still very flimsy. It's got a beautiful back on it, and I love these cards because it's dark on the outside, which is kind of like my aesthetic. I usually wear a lot of black, a lot of dark colors, but then it is so vibrant, so bright on the inside, and I really like these cards. I usually just use them for personal readings, but now that I've shown the camera, maybe I'll start using them more. But yeah, again, just support the artist. Buy the real thing, because you're not really saving that much money, especially when you consider the time that you have to wait. I typically have to wait like 4 to 6 weeks before I get any of these, which is why I ended up with so many. Like here, like these are all the knockoff tarot cards that I have. But like my first order, I think I bought, these were the first ones that I bought. And then while I was waiting for them, I bought these ones. And then in the time since, I've bought these two. But now that I know how disappointing in a way these knockoff cards are, I'm not going to be buying them again. But honestly, just buy legit cards. I bought this Rider Tarot deck off of Amazon. I think it was $19. Keep in mind, I am in Canada, so if you're in the US, cards do tend to be cheaper. But the cardstock on these, like, it's not nearly as flimsy. They're more rigid. Like, this is just, it's a better quality product. You're supporting the company that's actually creating these projects. Well, I guess you're supporting them, the eBay knockoff people, but you're supporting the artist, and you're letting the people know who actually created these decks that you appreciate their work. When you buy these, you're not showing the artist any support at all. And I honestly feel very guilty that I have all of these decks. And these are just my tarot decks. This doesn't even include the oracle decks, but I don't have nearly as many oracle decks. But that will be the next video. Well, not the next one. The next video is going to be another tarot reading. So the next video like this I will be putting out will be reviewing my knockoff oracle card decks, and I can't wait to show you that. In conclusion, don't buy these cheap knockoffs from eBay, from Wish, from AliExpress, from wherever. Support the artist. The artist put so much work into these cards, and they deserve to be compensated for it. And these are rip-offs. So don't waste your money. Buy the legit decks. Okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. Love, light, and happiness to all of you. Bye.